Hello friends, just wanted to give you some food for thought. If you follow me on Facebook or Twitter, you know I love to do what I call a #FFT or a food for thought. I like us to be thinking about our lives, and sometimes those are a challenge to us. Most of those, as I develop them, come from my own study, thinking, reflection. And today I've been thinking about many of my colleagues in ministry as they are out in the midst of the world. I've been on some video conferencing with them over the last few days, and I'm concerned because many of us are feeling the stress of trying to do ministry in a world that seems foreign to us. These are uncertain days, and we're uncertain about the work that we're doing sometimes. But today I wanted to give you a simple reminder. For a number of years I was involved in the process as pastors were going through what we used to call the probationary period, or today we call provisional status, before they become an ordained elder in the church. And I would often ask a number of questions. One of the questions that I would ask is, how many of you like conflict? And very few were popping their hands up. And then I would say, why are you doing what you're doing? Because our call as pastors is often call people into conflict. Conflict with themselves, sometimes conflict with us. Sometimes we have to challenge the way they currently think. And that can be a difficult task. But it's one that Jesus did, but he did it with love and care. And oftentimes he was exhausted, as many of my colleagues are feeling today. Exhausted. If you're one of those that is feeling exhausted, I want to encourage you to take care of yourself. Many of us are not very good at that. And you know what? It's not just pastors. It's all of us. We oftentimes put the needs of others before ourselves, and we don't do a very good job. But I wanted to give you an illustration that I think is really important to us to understand the importance of self-care. Many of you have flown on an airplane. You've gotten on the airplane, you sit in your seat, and you're taxiing out the runway to take off, and the flight attendant comes to the front of the room, and they start a recording, or somebody's voice comes over and reminds us that they want to tell us about the safety precautions in that airplane. Things like the seat cushion can be used for flotation, and where the exits are in an emergency. And those are all things, and we'll pay attention to those things. But maybe the most difficult to understand instruction they give you, that in case the air pressure in the cabin goes down, that a mask is going to fall out of the sky, out of the roof of the cabin, and come before your face. And then that most difficult of all instructions is to take that mask, put your own mask on first, and then take care of those around you. I've never had to do that, and I hope I never do. But I can't imagine what it would be like, especially if I was traveling with somebody I loved, or children, or almost anybody. I'd really want to care for them first, because that's many of our nature, isn't it? But why is it so important to put that oxygen mask on first? Without caring for your own well-being, you can't care for your neighbor. And that's true of us as pastors, and it's also true of those that are sitting in our pews. They have to be cared for. They have to be allowed to care for themselves. That is, they have to care for their spiritual, their mental, and their physical health. They have to be able to care for their families. And so I want to challenge you today to put your own oxygen mask on first. Make sure your relationship with God is great. Make sure your relationship with your family is where it needs to be. And then make sure that you're caring for yourself in such a way that you can care for your neighbor in the greatest way. Because isn't that truly the call of Jesus? To care and love our neighbor as we love ourselves. And I hope you'll take this message to heart. Have a great day and be blessed.